Welcome back to another base building project in Fallout 4. This time we will be building a nice little settlement in Hangman's Alley. A very narrow place where you can mostly just build up instead of to the sides. I gotta apologize for recording the first 20 minutes of my building during the night time. I didn't realize this because I'm a vampire myself and I'm used to the dark both in real life and in games. My hair actually started falling out because I don't get enough sun. No regrets though, no hair is better than being pestered by my aunt in her hair salon once a month. Anyway, I decided to start building this settlement from the other side, the side that has an open alley leading into it. Since the ground in this area is quite uneven and dirty, I placed the big elevated floors to completely block off the entrance. I placed them all the way to the stairs of the entrance on the opposite side and then added a guard post facing the outer area of the alley. There is something very incredible about this particular settlement. Things clip into the buildings very easily. I was able to create quite a few nice platforms here, but first, these fucking stairs. They didn't want to fit. The big ones, the small ones, the really small ones, the really big ones, they just didn't fucking fit at all. Which surprised me since the floors had no problems clipping half a meter into the buildings. Finally, I noticed that this elevated floor was kinda peeking out, just about the size of the platform that can be placed from the miscellaneous tab. So I nicely placed two platforms right next to the wall, added the two-step stairs in front, and added the small stairs that connected to the elevated floor. Don't worry, the darkness will leave the realm of the Hangman's Alley soon. Now I went back to the other side, the main entrance of the alley, how I like to call it. Since there was a lot of dirty crap on the ground, I wanted to put elevated floors here as well, and at first I had the wrong approach. I started from the outer area towards the door and stairs. This was wrong because I couldn't align the small floors so they nicely connect to the top of the stairs. So I deleted everything and added this floor right here, so it is as close as possible to the top of the stairs, while still leaving enough space so I can place the small floors to make it even. This seems like it was annoying, but it really wasn't, since it was my mistake to begin with. As soon as I realized how I should approach the flooring of this area, it worked perfectly, since the clipping is quite generous in this settlement. I added a few more floors and then stairs that led up, since we have to go up. There's not enough space. The floor was quite close to the wall of the building. I would have preferred if the wall was 100% close to the building, but this wasn't bad. I placed walls to separate the floor from the building wall, and then after adding another floor to the right, I put stairs yet again. But placing them like this wasn't a good idea because there's not enough space on that side. So I deleted those stairs and put them left and right. After climbing up on the left stairs, I created a platform and then walls, but the door was a bit of an ass maggot. You see, the door can't be placed on top of a floor. It needs to be attached to the side of the floor, which can bring pain and suffering to everyone. So I did the same thing as I did in the Spectacle Island video. I placed a small floor and attached a door to it so it fits the design of the house. I put the roof over the entire thing, and since the door was irritating me because it didn't fit as nicely as I wanted it to, I simply spent about 15 minutes trying to adjust the little floor. This wasn't necessary and nobody cares about it, but when I care about something, I'm gonna harass it until either I succeed in my intentions or the thing I care about dies. I fenced off the outer area and I noticed the sun coming out. At this point I realized, holy shit dude, you've been building in the darkness the entire time. People will throw tomatoes and onions at you because of this. So I called upon the gods of Petardia and they granted me eternal daylight. And now when the light is shining in the Hangman's Alley, you can clearly see the progress of my building. I went up to the other stairs and started placing platforms as much as the area allowed me. I wanted to go another level up, but I reached the height limit, which was bullshit. Why can't I build higher when the buildings are higher than that? What kind of sick bastard would put the limit so low? Why would you do this to me, to my life, to my beautiful bastards? I had a wonderful idea for the third floor, and that idea died in misery when this terrible limitation was imposed upon me, upon us. But I got over it and continued placing the floors. Since this area here was outlooking the main entrance to the alley, I added a guard post here and fenced off the path. I started walling this platform, and when I got to the point where the path of the guard post connected to the platform, I wanted to place a door, but then the same shit as before happened. This is where you can clearly see the idiocy of my brain. Notice how one platform didn't want to connect to the other because of the door. Well, instead of deleting this fucking platform that I was on, I tried to connect them somehow. It took me a few minutes to realize this, so I deleted that platform and simply connected the small floors to the door and created a new path. I really feel sorry for myself sometimes. After roofing the area, I went back down and I didn't like the openness of this place. I wanted to add stairs on the side and make some sort of an elevated platform yet again. To make things easier, I placed a few floors down, fenced it and added stairs next to the building. Placing this platform proved to be quite the unexpected dickery that I didn't want, but it happened anyway. You see, the problem I had was connecting walls together, considering that I used small floors to have better control over the platformed area, and since we don't have snappable walls for these small floors, I wasn't able to make things look nice. So instead of walls, I just placed fences. I walked around the ground and noticed this empty space behind this elevated shack. Of course I floored it, so it is nice and things actually clipped into the walls, which was incredible and it did make me joyful. Since I wanted to add another room on the ground, I needed floors yet again, so I placed them and added walls and the roof as well. This kinda completed the base design of the settlement, since I didn't really have more space anyway. So the item placement started at the same place where I initially started building. I added a shelf and some containers along with a bench, a rug and an ornament of a politician. I added a picture of a cat, because cats. I added an Itotronic and a cigar machine. That was good enough for this area and I proceeded towards the ground room. I placed a nice TV watching area in this corner. I had some trouble finding a good table, but all tables are shit and only one was suitable for this particular design. I moved towards the workshop and placed a tool chest and a toolbox right next to it. It's only logical, both by colors and the purpose. I also placed a wooden crate in this little space. It's like it was designed for this crate. This crate wanted to be here. I moved towards this elevated area in the back and placed some sort of a counter with some containers and shelves. I really had no idea what the fuck I was doing. This place was perfect as a generator area, which I realized a bit later. I placed some rugs on the doorways because rugs are awesome. I went through the doorway on the other side and I noticed the fire barrel. It reminded me of homeless people and I just wanted to add a bed here, and some chairs. Once that was done, I continued towards the upper area of the settlement and noticed this elevated shack that I can't remove. It really is an annoying place and it would make things much nicer if I could just remove it, but it is what it is, my friend. This room is for sex. There are 2 beds for sex and 2 chairs for watchers and masturbators. Going up the stairs, I wanted to add some sort of a nerd station in this corner, so I added a desk, a TV, a chair and a container. This is good for now. After climbing up the left stairs, I wanted to add a bed and some drawers in this little section on the right. Then I placed the table and some chairs in this corner. I wasn't really sure what else to do here, there wasn't enough space for anything else. I moved towards the other room and placed 2 bunk beds right next to each other in this corner, along with some drawers so they can change their clothes quicker, of course. In the corner to the left, I placed a table and chairs. They can play cards here or something. In the corner opposite to this one, I placed a chemistry station. I did this because this room also has beds, and if someone is creating nasty chemicals, the smell will knock out anyone who is having trouble sleeping. It's a win-win situation. After going through the doorway between the table and the beds, we're on this platform outside. I added a tub and a toilet here. Since you can't really trust post-apocalyptic flushes, it's best to keep the shitter somewhere outside so you can breathe. As for the tub, a lot of jacuzzis are outside, right? I also put a container near the guard post in case they need to store some ammo or weapons. I went back up the other stairs again, and since this area had this little extra space on the outside, I placed a weapons workbench here. I also knew that something was missing up here in the toxic room. Yes, this is the toxic room. I needed the cooking stove as well, because eating cooked seeds increases the toxicity of our city. Now I realized that I will actually need to place those seeds first, and since I covered all of the dirt areas, I went back down towards the back entrance of the settlement and deleted the floors so some dirt becomes available. I placed a few plants all over the dirt areas, and if this shit isn't toxic enough, then cooking it up there will surely make it so. Since I was here already, I went up the stairs and placed 2 power armor stations here. Initially I didn't really plan on doing this, but I'm glad everything worked out nicely. I figured I needed some stands as well, so I placed a food and drink stand through the doorway that leads towards the homeless area. It's like I'm trying to torture the poor bastards. On the platform after the main entrance, I added a first aid stand, a clothing stand and an armor stand. Oh, and I placed an armor workbench back there in the corner. I still didn't have water, so I added it in a few dirt places that were still visible. Also, I placed a siren right next to the nerd station, so as he is monitoring whatever he is monitoring, he can sound the siren to alert everyone. Putting a turret next to the entrance seemed like a good idea since I still didn't have any defenses. I placed another on the opposite side, next to the back entrance. And now I finally went back behind the elevated sex shack, deleted everything and placed 2 large generators here. Connecting the power was pretty straightforward. I used the power conduits to connect different sections of the settlement and simply connected the wires and placed lights as well. I think I understand how they function. You must not leave too much space between 2 conduits, because then it won't transfer power. So all you need to do is make sure that the conduits are placed evenly among themselves and you shall have power. I called upon the gods of Petardia yet again to bless me with eternal darkness to see how my lights performed. As you can see, shit is still very dark, but I like this. You should see me walk in the dark. I can see everything. Well, mostly because I spent 24 hours a day here, but still I can see in the darkness. The darkness is my friend, and these lights add a nice mood to the night time of the settlement. I assume most of you guys would prefer more lights, so you can clearly see everything and where you're going, but this was perfect in my eyes. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the Hangman's Alley settlement building. This one was quite enjoyable, and I think I created a pretty cool place for 8 settlers. I know that I didn't add the recruitment beacon, but that is one click away, so who gives a shit? Let me know what do you think about it, and feel free to share something that you built. I'd gladly take a look. I have been Petard, your glorious lord, and may the blessings of Petardia eternally touch your butt.
Welcome back to another base building project in Fallout 4.